Welcome to another edition of XV. Doing a little bit of an earlier stream today. Not a whole lot of storylines out of the weekend regarding Web3. Again, we're kind of in this interesting time, per se, with the markets where it feels that things that originally launched 2 to 3 years ago are getting to a point where the products are releasing, but at the same time, we're getting a lot of, hey, this is the alpha version. Hey, this is going to be riddled with bugs, yada, yada, yada. But the outlook, I think, is kind of promising. Let's dive into the headlines. The top 5 countries by Bitcoin holdings. Apparently, United States is 207,000 Bitcoin, China 194K, United Kingdom 61,000, Ukraine 46,000, and El Salvador at 5,000. What an absolute massive drop off over between number 4 and 5, and also Germany was number 4 with 50,000 Bitcoin, but of course they sold the majority of that over the weekend, which is crazy. Yo, Tapatoli. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Way back in the day, Artifact posted this shoe that was a design after Valorant, and to be honest, I don't play Valorant. I've watched the game a little bit, played with Yo Dermy. But this is actually sweet. I'm surprised they didn't have like an official collab for this. This is back in 2020. I was going to say 2020, but that sounds kind of weird, I suppose. But yeah, still kind of neat. All the collabs back in the day. Have you noticed? We're going to get into some other collabs, not necessarily within Web3 and also within Web3, but the collaborations, the cross, the interoperability we see all the time with just brands. Seems kind of insane. Artifact highlighting some of their Animus eggs. If you've not seen, basically they had these eggs, which were for these different characters, and I don't know if I really have any specific takes with them, except it does feel that there is a lot within the Web3 realm that are going after kind of these monster type things, right? We have Illuvium, we have Pixelmon, we have what's going on with Project Animus for Artifact here, but this is Dracanox. And it's just, it's cool, but until there's the extra aspects where you can kind of like fall in love with the characters, it's like, okay, does it look cool? Nice. Another one here, Animus Jinx, not to be confused with the League of Legends character, but just kind of showing what they got cooking on that front. Sebastian from the Sandbox had a very interesting quote regarding, well, the Sandbox.
It's very fun to create, it's in Sandbox. Very often I say like the real game in Sandbox is building. It's not necessarily just exploring or fighting.
We are all
chatting.
creators and storytellers at the end of the day, right?
That's what I want everyone to realize. Like, I think so, but not everybody, because of where they're born, the society, the social status, how they have to survive in life, some of them, etc. They don't have that freedom of mind to think like, I can be a creator, I can let my inner talent express itself and so on. So how do we enable that? And ultimately showing the way, hopefully attracting new people and allowing them to actually earn from that activity and see that if I can earn more by letting my creative self than doing a very boring, repetitive task that ultimately might be replaced by AI, why don't I just focus on that and enjoy and make it my new passion? And that's where
I'm surprised that he's talking about the AI angle, because I feel like the AI angle is going to come in here pretty massively regarding like these metaverse experiences. But like talking to the Sandbox and building, like, do you guys think like, okay, if I'm doing something in Sandbox, your first intuition is go and build something? I don't think so. And like part of it's like, okay, so I can build like this world, this experience, but then how am I going to get people to use it? And obviously there's a lot of plots within Sandbox, and I'm a little bit arrogant because I haven't or ignorant because I haven't played Sandbox in quite some time. But it's like, okay, do you build out something for like yourself, or are other people going to enjoy it? And so it's an interesting complex, but it does kind of highlight how everyone is getting pushed towards that creator role. Yo, is that when marketing? Let me know if that's when marketing. The text is like this blue shade on my screen, and it's hella hard to see. But good morning, good morning. So yeah, that's the Sandbox there from Sebastian. New U.S. Bitcoin ETF saw $310 million in inflows yesterday, the highest in a month. Triple double banger, like Gary Zman. True. Well, again, I still think like the AI tooling and whatnot is going to vastly disrupt any of these kind of like world building experiences that are out there, and at the same time, like, Sandbox is totally going to integrate their own variation of AI. No, like, he's saying that AI is going to take it over. Like, there's no way you don't add something to it. All right, Bill Noble, I watched him a fair bit, and it was interesting because he made this post saying, regarding his July 12th stream, which I think was on Friday, that it was his lowest performing stream in recent memory. That tells you all you need to know. And Bitcoin and the whole market looked like it was roaring over the weekend, and most people were just not really looking at it. The interest has massively waned. I don't know. We have kind of a subdivide where there's like the Web3 and NFT space, and then there's the crypto space. And there's a lot of people that are within crypto that still think, oh, yeah, digital assets, NFTs and stuff is like stupid. But it's like, okay, dude, you're in crypto. It's the same thing. What is this narrative that we're creating? But it is very interesting to note that he said that was one of his lowest performing streams last week. Sitting at the airport and looking around, every single person is on their phone or showing someone something on their phone. Well, it sounds like, guys, we got to invest in the mobile landscape. I don't know, maybe I'm showing my age, but something just feels so wrong about society nowadays. So I guess this is just like a point to like digress on, and people, are into what they're into, right? When you're at an airport, are you going to have conversations with people that have the exact same interest of you that you're sitting next to, close family members, yada yada? Do they care about it? Would they rather be indulging their mind in thoughts and content of which they like? It's weird because it really feels like we're at a point in time where, like, if you have a specific niche of something you like straight down to the T, you can probably find some kind of podcast, some TV shows, some series, whatever. And also being able to connect globally, you can find other people that are exactly on your same wavelength with that. And so I kind of get it, but like as a younger person that is, also on their phone all the time, like it's just, I don't know. It kind of is what it is. So again, the mobile, it's the future, baby. Steve Bark having an interesting perspective on a comment that I wanted to go like straight to here. So B here, who's rocking a mutant ape profile picture, because we need this for the context. And this is regarding some comments on Doodle saying, I don't think it takes a lot to collab with Crocs or washed up Lil Wayne, referring to the collaborations that Doodles have had with them. Let's see you get a collab with Bape or Gucci, right? And so this was kind of like a shot saying, Bathing Ape and Gucci is bigger than Lil Wayne and Crocs, which again, subjective to people's perspective. But Julian responding saying, case in point, and for the record, Bape tried us first. We turned it down. So if anybody doesn't remember, Bored Apes did a collab with Bape. And this was when they had Ape Fest last year, and I mean, the shoes look really cool. They have some really neat merch. These things were like $300 plus. It's crazy. Yo, Atari, good morning, sir. Great space last night. I caught like 30 minutes of it. I got the ping when Aaron was talking, but I totally think I missed the majority of what he said because I tuned in and then he was talking for a minute and then it was you and Algie responding to him. And then he's like, I got to go. And I'm like, sugar. So again, either way, back to the point here is that, we have all these cross collaborations with things, but it's interesting that Doodles actually turned down a Bathing Ape, which again, if you hadn't seen, there was massive lineups out for people trying to get these different merchandise. Now, speaking of Bored Apes, I just like these posts where I don't know why it doesn't happen more for some of these bigger collections. I get that it's resources, totally, not a business guy, probably be way more capital efficient to do other things. But this is just like Curtis, the main Bored Ape, waving a flag of Spain, waving a flag of England that's in the Euros. Also, the Copa America was on. Theoretically, this could have been a double post, just change the flags. Probably not unbelievably hard. Probably not unbelievably hard. But still just kind of cool to have that, personal connection if you ended up watching those games. Jasher, right? That's how we say that? Yeah, I probably botched it. Shara is in New Zealand. The team is all very quiet on X. We're about to get the release of Doom. What the hell does that mean? Isn't that isn't Doom negative? What is going on? In the best way. Okay. Aaron, Marco, and everyone is cooking right now. It's going to be a good week. Futureverse fam, looking forward to it. And he responds saying, serious cooking going on this week. Down under. Outputs of this week will be the biggest moves we have made so far as Futureverse. Again, the market is looking hella weird across the entire space. There was different charts, people being negative, not necessarily about Futureverse, but a whole bunch of different of the Web3 type collections that are out there. And it really feels like there is a huge difference between the crypto crowd and the NFT crowd, as I mentioned earlier. But at the same time, if you saw the other day, and I'm going to have to go back with the posts here. Right here is like when we went over all the US dollar prices, like, okay, sure, stuff's down when like Cool Cats were selling for like 20 ETH. Right? Like, I mean, that was kind of crazy, but they're still going for like $1,000. Cyberkongs are still going for $20,000. You know what I mean? Like, these things are still going for an absolute premium. It's just, there's such like a negative connotation because of like the ridiculous heights that we had before. Okay. This is kind of wild. I don't know if you guys have any waterfront festivals or Rib Fest, et cetera, but imagine walking through thinking, hey, I'm going to play one of the games, and there's a huge display of pudgy penguins there. Oh my goodness. They have the toys out there. Brand awareness 101. Kind of crazy to think about. And I don't know if when we've been looking over the pudgy penguin stuff, I would have thought, yeah, this is what I guess happens at a carnival nowadays, the pudgy penguin displays. Okay, Loopify highlighting for Treeverse. One important thing to note for this Treeverse open alpha is that it's not going to go smooth. So earlier, we highlighted how all these activations, these releases are happening, but at the same time, we're getting told, hey, these are the early stages of it. First major build on mobile, first time testing for tens of thousands of users, and not optimized for every single device. This is where you guys come in. We will need you to test and break things. Speaking of other collaborations, absolutely nothing to do with Web3, but Travis Scott ex-Tottenham Hotspurs. Seeing an immense amount of collaborations. Don't have it on here, but also Pokemon and Crocs as well. But speaking of Pokemon and the mobile gaming industry, if you guys didn't know, the Pokemon Go Global Fest happened. Insane weekend. Played a little bit on the Saturday. It's kind of, out in the area, but this game still brings out people in droves. And whenever Pokemon comes into Web3, holy suffering succotash. South Korea proposes pushing back crypto gains taxation to 2028. So are we about to go into a huge run? Why the hell is this a headline? After the weekend, everybody's seeming to flip the script hella bullish on crypto. Kind of crazy. Now, a little bit of unfortunate news, potentially, if anybody's into the Futureverse or Altered State Machine ecosystem, is Mochaverse posted this trailer that we're like, damn, this looks exactly like Racers, from the car design to where they had the different accessories. All of this looked exactly the same. At Slide Night, highlighting that Cosmic Royale highlighted the fact that it is by Eden Games and the Motorverse fam, which we've never heard of before, presented by Mocha Network. Now, there's some kind of collaboration with Futureverse and Animoca where there was like an equity swap. We don't know how deep that runs. Maybe this is built on Futureverse tech. Maybe it's not, but it feels like with them making this announcement that our assumption was incorrect, which is fine. But we bring it back to speculation, baby. Venezuelan families are turning to Tether, USDT, and Dogecoin as lifeline as the country recovers from an economic crisis. So this is kind of a crazy headline to me because I feel when we talk about people within, I guess we'll call it like the US for the most part, or in general, like I see way more conversations about Circle and USDC than I do of USDT and Tether. And then also them kind of going to Dogecoin is very interesting because, again, the conversation about what's money in this day and age, I mean, it's just kind of something to reflect on and be kind of crazy. Now, this was the last tweet that I was going to end on, but because we just saw that, this was something from Nathaniel Whitmore saying, Bank of America just shut down our personal bank account because crypto. Now, he's saying personal bank account. I don't know if that happens to mean like a business one. If it is personal, that kind of sucks. Obviously, we've seen some huge variance between different banks out there of whether they like it or not. Regulatory concerns seem to be opening up a little bit more. But again, it just sucks to hear that that's the case and they're kind of so against it. But at the same time, does that mean, hey, like the banks are fearful of it? Okay, so Mogul Productions, we highlighted this the other day. They're launching on this Spores launchpad. And I'm just like, man, the amount of things that are out there on these different platforms that I've never heard of, and people trying to do this, that, and the other thing, I feel like we're going to be at a point eventually where the whole tech and everything is just hidden. We have way too many different, hey, go on this chain, do this, get this token, yada, yada. This stuff's got to all be way more interconnected and changed. Just looking at this, if there's anything kind of like interesting with it, but the total raise 150K. Token price of 0.02, and they're launching on the BNB chain. I feel like most things don't launch on BNB, although the grapes did, and that did not go well whatsoever. Akutars, apparently the most undervalued collection in Web3 by a mile. Now, this collection came out at like 15,000 plus total volume. Right now, the floor is sitting at 0.035. Former MLB player Mika Johnson was a part of this, and they're now having a collaboration with the MLB, which is kind of cool. But the crazy thing with this, for anybody that's not familiar with the situation, is basically the way that they wrote the contract is they lost all of the mint funds, which was like several $1 million, and it was this huge happening at the time. It's never really been brought back up that I've seen on my timeline since then. But it's amazing that they basically lost their entire revenue stream initially and have kept going. So that shows, hey, they really want to support it with their own money and keeping it going. So that is really, really cool that is such the case. And then you can see here, this is what the site looks like for the Aku Dreamgazer vinyl figures. If we go to shop now here, if they got anything, we got the early access. But Mika, from the age of 3, Mika Johnson dreamed of being a Major League Baseball player, and in 2015 that dream came true. In 2018, he retired from baseball and traded in his bat for a paintbrush. Mika's work has been featured on the cover of Time magazine and exhibited globally at prestigious venues like Christie's and Art Basel. He has also collaborated with iconic brands, most recently with Topps, to create the first ever Negro Leagues baseball card set. And then Aku itself is kind of like just a character. And so this is the conversation that like I tried having the other day, where we've seen the Doodles have kind of a mascot. We've seen Cool Cats have it. We've seen Bored Apes and the Curtis the Ape. And Aku has this main character. Look at the different collections out there and see which ones have like a quote unquote mascot. Does it matter? Does it actually enhance anything, or is it just kind of the way that it is? But that's it for this edition of XFeed. I wanted to do a stream a little bit earlier today. There wasn't a whole lot that I saw on the weekend. Obviously, some unfortunate situations did happen, and so I don't know if announcements were laid off. I know that there was a lot of different posts that people had out there that ended up being removed because of the timeliness of it, and so we'll see kind of what this week brings. Again, Treeverse is talking about what they're doing. Futureverse has got things cooking. Pixel Vault's reactivated their GG token with the rage quit and the burn that's going on. There's a lot of different happenings with things. It's felt, kind of quiet over the last couple of weeks, and I don't know if it's just the summer. Listen, it could strictly just be the summer and things go flying. I have no idea, but appreciate you guys coming through. I'm Tali, Atari God, ON Marketing. Thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.